following program is for training purposes in TV news education. Some copyrighted material is used and is credited on screen. However, no more was taken than was necessary to tell the story of the event. YBA claims fair use of materials.
I couldn't believe in that home opener how not difficult it was for the Bruins to get shots through. The Rangers are an excellent shot blocking team. Almost nothing gets through them unless they protect them almost very well, and the Rangers barely did any of that.
So what do you think, Carter?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, and I mentioned Lundqvist, he's not the only issue with the Rangers right now. They asked, when John Tortorella was asked, what specific thing is the issue with the Rangers right now, he responded, all of them. All the aspects of our team are having trouble right now, and I'm not being sarcastic. We really are having trouble everywhere. And that's the truth, and shot blocking, especially because that's a thing that they're notoriously good at, and something that they are going to have to rely on if they are going to be major contenders in the Eastern Conference this year. It's something that obviously has to be improved. And I know we're only 2 games into the season. It's not time to panic yet, but maybe a little sense of urgency could help the Rangers moving forward.
Well, the Bruins and the Rangers play again in their next game, and this time it will be away in New York. So we'll have to see how that plays out. If the Bruins win, the Rangers really can go into a little bit of a shock mode and really start to look at their team. But if the Rangers win, then I think things will start to settle in and be better, and the Bruins, and the teams will even out as the season goes on.
I agree. I totally agree. This will be the first road test for the Bruins. I think it'll be the first real test of the entire season. Because, they're still a little bit, rusty from having the long lockout. The first road win against a tough Rebel, that'll be the real test. Thank you, Carter, so much for joining us. We're going to head to a break. Carter, we wish you all the best.
Thank you. Same to you guys.
Stick around. We'll be back soon.
Hello, welcome back to K Sports Sunday. I'm TJ Horgan, rather distraught about a Falcons loss. When I'm not donning a face of impartiality on camera, I am a diehard Falcons fan, and I'm not ashamed to admit that in a room full of Patriots fans. In a pretty sad week for myself, along with all the Patriots fans here in Massachusetts and further New England, we have to start off the show, we have some talk about the Patriots and what they should do in the offseason. I'm joined by Jason Siegel and Dylan Quint on the Back Talk set. So, guys, what moves do you think the Patriots have to make this offseason to make their organization successful in the next few years?
Well, you certainly need to fix up that secondary. That has really been a lot of their problem. I think you need to re-sign Aqib Talib. They brought him in, had him on a half-year contract, re-sign him.
He was really good.
Definitely. And I think they need to trade, whether it's a young receiver like Deion Branch.
Branch is an unrestricted free agent.
Yeah. Well, try to trade someone for a perhaps a little bit an older, more experienced safety or a cornerback, someone in the secondary to really help out this young, small secondary. Aqib Talib is the tallest guy on the team in the secondary, so you need to re-sign him.
Yeah, I think you also need to get other guys too. You need to get secondary guys. Also, possibly bring in another receiver, possibly do a trade for some guys, trade to get some guys that are veteran guys, basically.
There are very capable secondary players out in the free agent market.
The other problem is Stephen Ridley went down yesterday. I don't know about his status, but he seems like it was a pretty bad hit yesterday. He actually had a good season, so I think the running back position's pretty good. Shane Vereen, Stephen Ridley. They're all they got good running backs. I think tight ends are good. Aaron Hernandez, Gronkowski. You have to wonder about his health, the way he's been out the last few years.
Yeah, and Patrick Chung also was injured yesterday. And TJ, I want to ask you, Tony Gonzalez, it looks like he's going to retire. Do you think the Falcons need to bring in another tight end, or should they try to trade for or draft a wide receiver?
They don't have a prime draft position, if you will, but I do think that with Tony Gonzalez's retirement, I believe that he solidified himself as the best tight end to ever play the game. But we'll fall into that discussion some other time. But the Falcons could use a young tight end talent. They have Chase Kaufman and Michael Palmer, 2 guys who have proved themselves as sort of underdogs and sleepers for the next coming years. But definitely some help on the offensive line and pass rush will work. In terms of the Patriots, you have Kyle Arrington, Patrick Chung, and Aqib Talib are all unrestricted free agents next year. A guy who I think the Patriots could possibly make a move on, like you mentioned, Jason. They need bigger guys. They need harder-hitting guys. LaRon Landry, one of the biggest safeties out there, he's an unrestricted free agent, was on the Jets. And also Jarris Byrd, a guy who's caused havoc in the past with the Bills on to the Patriots. He's also a free agent. I think they need to make some moves in the secondary.
Certainly. I mean, that has been their weak spot, and I think that's what's really been holding them back. We saw the Ravens, their weak spot was the passing game, but in the playoffs and even in the regular season, they have certainly picked that up. What do you think about the Ravens' pass offense?
Well, I think the Ravens' pass offense has really been good. I think Torrey Smith is a great deep threat. I think Alfonso Denard, or sorry for the mispronunciation if I did mispronounce it. I think you got it right. I think he had a kind of trouble. Yeah, I think Torrey Smith was a tough matchup for him. And do you really want a 7th round pick covering a speedy guy? It's kind of exactly Torrey Smith, Anquan Bolden, Dennis Pitta, Ray Rice. You got so many guys that can contribute in the pass game. And Joe Flacco at the beginning of the season, I thought I don't think he's an elite quarterback. Well, he sort of proved me wrong. Now I believe he really is an elite quarterback.
So guys, I have a question for you guys about the Patriots offseason. I'm not talking specific names if you don't need to, but where do you think the Patriots should draft this year?
Well, I think they will do their usual either trade draft picks or draft young guys either on the offensive line or anywhere in the defense where they really need help. I mean, Vince Wilfork and Rob Ninkovich are really, and maybe Brandon Spikes, really the only 3 guys on the defense who are consistently efficient and do something. So I think
there is a defensive tackle, a nose guard coming out of Alabama, Jesse Williams. He would fit perfectly into Belichick's scheme with the 3-4, which is also run in Alabama. You might have heard this mentioned in the BCS National Championship, but he benches over 600 pounds. This guy, he's 6'3", 320. He's a great guy like Vince Wilfork to just clog up the middle, who we can put there when Wilfork eventually retires.
Yeah, I think you do need to bring in some young guys. Yeah. Wilfork's getting older. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you need to get guys definitely get some pass rush. I think they should get that. Also in the secondary, the only guy that they really have is Aqib Talib, who they picked up mid-season. I think he's really a guy that I believe really. Besides that, I think you also do need to address the secondary. Alfonso Denard, I don't know if he's really could be the GOAT guy that should start all the time. Maybe you bring in another guy or whatever, and he can really contribute very well. And then, so basically also in the probably I think you need to bring in another wide receiver too. They have good running backs, good tight ends, but I don't know about their wide receiver. I think you possibly need to bring in an explosive, really big deep threat. I know they got Wes Welker, they got Julian Edelman. Wes Welker's really their only best wide receiver. They use the tight ends more than the wide receivers, to be honest. Besides Wes Welker, they don't really throw the receivers.
Well, what do you guys think about the Patriots using Brandon Lloyd as a deep threat?
Yeah, he's pretty good, but I don't think. You can use him, but I don't think that you just can have Welker and Lloyd. I think you also need other guys too that can really come in, like Terrence Williams of Baylor. He could be a guy you might consider. I remember him at Baylor. Nick Florence, I don't know if you know about him, but he was really thrown deep to Terrence Williams. So is RG3 too.
Wes Welker, he is a free agent after this year. And there's a guy who I noted, Tavon Austin, who you might have heard of, catching passes from Geno Smith at West Virginia. He's built like Wes Welker. He's 5'9", 175, 10 pounds lighter than Wes Welker. But if you put him in the weight room, I think that he could amount to a great explosive screen pass catcher like Wes Welker could.
That's a good point, and I wanted to ask you, TJ, so the Falcons have Roddy White and Julio Jones, who really are deep threats for the Falcons offense. And Tony Gonzalez is really the guy, you just need to pick up a first down, that's who you go to. So
exactly.
Do you think the Falcons will try to train Julio Jones and Roddy White into kind of like a Tony Gonzalez, not as a blocker, of course?
The Falcons are set for receiving options.
Yes.
With Tony Gonzalez's absence, you're leaving a void in the go-to man, which I believe Roddy White can fill. And then you also have younger guys. Harry Douglas, he's been overshadowed by White and Jones in the past 2 years. However, Harry Douglas is a great receiver. He's just been overshadowed by those guys. And they also have a rookie, Kevin Cohn. He's extremely fast. He can be explosive. He's a sleeper who I predict for the next few years could do something in Atlanta.
This is your producer. How do you feel about Jaquiz Rogers?
Well, producer. Jaquiz Rogers is an all-around back. He has the versatility that no man can match in the NFL. Jaquiz Rogers, you could put him at any position on the field. Throw him at center. I would be fine with that. I trust Jaquiz Rogers on this offense. Michael Turner's going to be 31 years old next year. Jaquiz Rogers, he is young and he has speed. He is the future of the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
Michael Turner.
What else does he have? Anything else?
Grass stains in his dreadlocks.
Michael Turner, all he's really done is just been punching it in at the one. I think they do need a back who can get them down the field.
Yeah, exactly.
And not just have to rely on Matt Ryan, especially with the fact that Tony Gonzalez is going to be leaving them. And Jaquiz Rogers, I think, is their answer to that problem.
Yep.
Yeah, what if they get like a speedy back or whatever in the NFL draft, like another guy like Joseph Randall, Oklahoma State. I know Eddie Lacy, he was projected like not that high. His draft stock is riding. I don't know if they'll get a chance to get him. If they really do have a chance to get Eddie Lacy,
will be a draft sleeper. So we're going to move on now to some Super Bowl predictions. As you know, this is the year of the Har Bowl, where Jim and John Harbaugh will be facing each other with the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers in the Super Bowl. I want to know, what do you guys think of this Super Bowl mashup? What are your predictions, and what are your predictions?
Well, I predict a low-scoring, tight game like the BCS National Championship was supposed to be. Of course, it wasn't, with a 42-14 win for Alabama. But as for the Har Bowl, I'm predicting 17-14. San Francisco wins. Last-second 50-yard field goal kicked by David Akers.
Yeah, do you really think that's going to be that low scoring of game? I don't really think so. Both San Francisco and Baltimore's offenses have been producing, and Baltimore's defense is that good. I think Joe Flacco's on fire, so I think they're definitely going to score more than 14 points. I think Colin Kaepernick in the end is able to lead the team on a game-winning drive. I think Colin Kaepernick, that run element, really makes him special. The 49ers have been scoring a lot of points throughout the playoffs, and so have the Ravens too. So I think it's going to be I don't think it's going to be as much as they've scored in the past, but I think it's going to be 27-24 San Francisco. And their defense, that makes a difference. The Ravens defense, to be honest, they haven't been that good yet. Last night they were a bend but not break. But this time I think Colin Kaepernick and Frank Gore and even Michael James can add an element. Plus, Michael James, I think this time could come on a kick return. He's been returning kicks recently.
You know, I'm the only guy out of us three. I'm picking the Ravens. Actually, I'm picking the Ravens 16-10. I'm picking the Ravens because the battle will be up front. You have San Francisco's elite defensive line with Justin Smith, Ray McDonald, and Isaac Sopoaga. And then you also have guys like Ahmad Brooks and Aldon Smith. Ahmad Brooks was 8th in quarterback hits this year, and his teammate Aldon Smith on the other side, 1st in the league in quarterback hits. So there will be pressure on the Ravens. And if the Ravens' offensive line, the tackles Bryant McKinney and Michael Orr, if the offensive line doesn't produce and they don't protect Joe Flacco like they should, then I think the Ravens will run the ball, which they are more than capable of doing with guys like Ray Rice and Bernard Pierce. They can get the ball up the field just on the ground. Joe Flacco doesn't have to throw it. And if he does throw it, if they force him to throw the ball, there will be interceptions. However, I do have Baltimore winning the 16-10.
Well, let me just ask you one thing, TJ. Ray Rice did not exactly have a stellar game, and we're talking about the Patriots defense here.
Yeah.
The 49ers, they have Aldon Smith, Justin Smith, Patrick Willis. Do you really think that Ray Rice is going to be able to go up and down the field against this Niners defense?
You know, there are great players on the 49ers defense, but it's always been said that the key to stopping an elite pass rusher, which the 49ers have more than one of those, is to run the ball on him. So I believe there will be more run schemes in the Ravens offense this time. Instead of running it out of, one back formations, they're going to need to bring in the fullback. They're going to need to bring in a double tight end set maybe, which they can do with Ed Dixon and Dennis Pitta. But they're going to need to bring more beef in the middle so Ray Rice can pound the ball up for good yards.